Welcome back, everyone, to Fordham Firesides. I'm your host, Hank Michaels, and we're at episode 10 now. That's double digits, so pretty exciting stuff. Today I have Kathryn Teaney, the CAB president, which is the Campus Activities Board, and she's in charge of all that. How you doing today, Kathryn?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm all right. A little cold, a little upset about the Brewers.
I know. I'm sorry my Dodgers could do that to you, but I'm happy to go to the World Series. So.
Yeah, maybe next year or the year after, or maybe sometime in my lifetime.
At least in the lifetime, right?
Yeah. So, Kathryn, being president of CAB sounds like something that would make you pretty busy. Why don't you tell me about what it's like for a day-to-day job?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've been describing it as, because I've been on CAB the past 2 years that I've been at Fordham. I've been at Fordham, not that I transferred or whatever, but I always say I don't have a purpose anymore, which is funny because I'm not planning specific things. I'm more of just looking at what everyone else is doing, which is always weird, but it's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of making sure that everyone's on track, especially during the fall. We do signature weeks pretty much every single month that we're here. So it's making sure that buses are being booked and tickets are going out in time and publicity has all their stuff together. So it's really fun and it's really cool, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah, sure. So do you find yourself kind of working as a middleman between the other CAB members and the Office of Student Involvement to some extent?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, most of the committees are pretty self-sufficient in terms of how they're working with the Office for Student Involvement. But definitely if people need to connect with other committees or if outside groups want to connect with people, I've already had people ask about if we could co-program, and so Cit Events co-program with campus ministry and stuff like that. So I am a middle ground because most people, when they reach out to CAB, they're not thinking of specific committees. So
oh, sure.
I'm the one who points them in the right direction.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you going back to the committees, what committees were you on in the past?
So actually, up until now, I've always been on comedy.
Okay.
So my sophomore and junior year, I was on comedy. I didn't want to be on comedy, actually. I wanted to be on Cit Events, but I loved comedy, so it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it did work out. What were some of the guests that you booked that you were most proud of?
Actually, all the ones I booked I've been pretty proud of.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll go from smallest to largest, I guess. Kate Berlant, who I love.
Okay.
She's a smaller comedian, but she's really funny, and she's starting to show up in a lot of stuff. And then my sophomore year, we booked Colin Jost for spring weekend, which was really cool. Kind of wild. It was definitely a big step for CAB comedy. Okay. Before we had always done it was marked by craziness as opposed to actual comedians. So
okay.
CAB comedy used to do awkward rambly photos, and we would show up at senior nights and show up with props and take pictures for seniors, and that would be it. Which I was cool, but not comedy. So so we're moving in that direction. So we actually started doing 2 shows a year. So my junior year, I was so mad because I was abroad, but we booked Chris Gethard, which was really cool. And then for spring weekend we did Tig Notaro.
Yeah, the thing with Chris Gethard, I had no idea who he was when I saw him, and then I ended up rewatching The Office this summer. Yeah. And then Parks and Rec a few months ago, and he's in both of those in very small roles. He shows up everywhere.
Yeah, he's the boss in Broad City.
Haven't seen it.
It's very good. I highly recommend. But yeah, he is in everything. He's that one of those comedians who shows up as soon as you know him.
Yeah, I know. Funny guy. Very distinct look, so it's hard to miss him.
Totally.
Yeah. So what made you eventually want to make this step then to president?
Yeah, I don't know. I had fun with comedy and I saw how things could be transformed, and how if you kind of have your vision, you can kind of make your way toward a more, how do I say this? Push the line for sure. And I looked at the people who are on the board around me, and at that moment I felt I think I could push the line even further. And I think that this board would be behind me in terms of being bold.
So would you say that CAB has moved in different directions this year since you've been president?
I think that there is a little more of, because of all the strides that we took last year on CAB with booking T-Pain. And we kind of broke free of a lot of like very old like cab traditions. I think that people generally have a sense of freedom now.
Okay.
So we're all very excited, and it's not like we're not stuck in, oh, we've always done this, we should do this again. It's more of like, was that worth it?
Yeah.
If not, I don't want to do it. So.
Yeah. When you say like breaking free of traditions and then booking T-Pain, are you referring to like how they didn't want to book like more hip hop acts in the past, or like scrubbing through artists' lyrics before they booked them? Does it have anything to do with that?
Well, I mean, not really. It used to be, last year was obviously a big step, and it's actually because we were able to make the right arguments beforehand.
Okay.
I just don't think that the board was equipped before and I don't think that administration was equipped. Like I think we had the right place, right time last year.
Yeah.
To make the pitch, and it worked out, and then everything turned out okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a big issue that happened during spring weekend, so I think now everyone's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like a good move for the future too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It was a jump, but it was worth it.
Yeah, and it's great too because I feel like people have been speculating about T-Pain being the act for like the last 5 years or something like that.
Years.
Yeah.
I know, it was crazy to take him off the concert survey this year.
Yeah, I know.
Moment of silence.
Kind of sad.
Yeah.
So I guess going forward with that, how's it looking for the concert this year?
We'll see. We're still in the internal process. So the way it works is that we have 2 people who are the concert chairs. Mm-hmm. So they gather information on artists who are in our price range and who we think would put on a good show.
Yeah.
They make a packet full of that artist's top 20 songs, and they submit it to myself, our advisor, and Dean Arcuri, who's the head for the Office for Student Involvement.
Yeah.
And so once those get approved, then we kind of have like all those artists in our arsenal to move forward to booking. So we'll probably book over Christmas break.
What do you look for in those top 20 songs?
Well, we always have to think about how the songs are going to reflect the Fordham community.
Sure.
And what the message is.
Yeah.
So, but most of all, we just look for students' responses. Do we think that this is going to be someone who people are going to like?
Yeah.
Because then we want to fight for them.
Yeah, for sure. So I know that the survey for the concert, like in terms of like what types of act people want to see, I know that came out like a month ago or something. Can you say like what the more popular choices were for that?
I don't think I can.
That's all right. Yeah.
But we had some of them, I think it was the highest responded to survey we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we really do, like when we take the packets to the Office for Student Involvement, we say, look, X number of students wanted this genre or this artist or whatever. So it is really like, we're really thankful for people who do the survey because it is our major bargaining point.
Yeah, no, that's good. I know a lot of people get confused about that when it came out. Like when I was a freshman, they were like, oh, these are the list of acts that they're going to book. And we get to pick from these. So. Yeah,
there's so much folklore around it.
Yeah. I feel like every year I always have to like re-explain to my friends. I'm like, no. Like this isn't actually like who they're definitely going to get.
Right.
Yeah. Do you think that that success or like the popularity of the survey may have came from T-Pain being a popular act last year?
Maybe. I mean, because now, so when you're on cab, like as a normal committee member, you actually don't know, like, we don't talk to each other as much or like tell as many, like, especially with contracts and stuff. So I had no idea like what the survey results were like when I was on comedy. I had no idea what the history was. I barely even knew how the concert process worked, actually, which is probably terrible, but here I am. And so apparently T-Pain had been getting really high numbers for years.
Really?
Yeah. And so they finally were like, look at these numbers. So I think it's just like going on with the tradition.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing who you guys get this year.
Should be fun.
I'm sure it'll be great. So in terms of the other committees, what are some big events that you have coming up for the fall?
Yeah, we have. Well, so we're actually about to dive into Halloweek and Family Weekend. Very exciting. We're doing on Monday the 29th. Yes, we're doing the haunted ghost tours, which are always very fun. And then actually we're really excited we changed the way that Cine Events works this year. And so we're trying out for this semester doing both screenings on the same night, one earlier and one later. So earlier, it's a more commuter friendly time. Maybe people can go before they have other like things that they have to do at night, do homework. So it starts at 6:30 and then the later one starts at 9:30.
So you mean like both screenings of the same movie in the same night rather than 2 times during the week.
Yeah, and 2 times
Okay.
because they used to be at like 9:00 p.m. And so
Okay.
by the time you got there, commuters couldn't go. Like if you had to do homework, you probably couldn't go.
Yeah, sure.
So we're actually doing Halloween Town
Okay.
on Tuesday the 30th, and it's outside, and we're gonna do free hot chocolate
fun.
and apple cider. It'll be fun.
Is it on Eddie's?
It's on Eddie's.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great spot to watch a movie.
Spoopy for sure.
Yeah, yeah. What other Halloweek events are there?
Yeah, we're doing I think the survey or the sign up already went out, but Comedy's doing an excursion to the Upright Citizens Brigade in Hell's Kitchen. Very fun. Rodrigue's Coffee House is doing a haunted house on Sunday night.
Nice.
The theme is middle school.
Okay.
The horrors of middle school. So
It's a good one.
yeah, pretty relatable.
Yeah.
Pretty relatable. So they're very excited.
Yeah. So I know one thing that was really confusing this year is Halloween's on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Parents' weekend is the weekend before, and people are not sure if we're supposed to be doing Halloween stuff like this coming weekend or the following weekend.
Yeah.
So are you guys kind of separating the events so you can do the parents' weekend stuff like separate from the Halloweek stuff, or what's your strategy with
Yeah,
that?
for the most part, because a family weekend takes so much of e-board's time in terms of just focusing all our efforts. It's kind of a crazy 48 hours. But on Sunday, when the game day brunch is over for family weekend, then we're going to do the haunted house and bingo, and when all the parents are gone. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just makes more sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say are like some common misconceptions about cab, like what people think you do and versus what actually happens and what goes down?
Yeah, I think one of the funniest ones is that people can't get like the big 4 clubs straight.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of times people come up to me and they're like, I have an under the tent theme for you. Like, okay, well, I will move you on to RHA.
Yeah.
Could tell me the idea. I'm excited. But I think a lot of other people too, because we have such a high budget, think that we have so much money to spare.
Oh yeah.
And are always like, well, why can't you do this for me? And we're like, well, because we need to buy stuff for us. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. I think people sometimes forget how much cab does, which is completely understandable. We do a lot throughout the year.
The majority of all the little events going on throughout the year are probably tied to cab in some way.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever come to you like assuming you're USG being like, yeah, the sinks in our bathroom don't work. Can you guys try and fix that?
I haven't had that one yet, but I would be excited to fix it.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite part about being on cab? Like just in general, why do you love doing it?
I think it gives you so much opportunity. And I found this when I was on the G board too, is to just be involved and to do stuff. Like I think if it weren't for the weekend activities committee, I wouldn't have done like half the cool stuff I've done.
Oh yeah.
Just in general, like in New York City.
And they just went to Six Flags, right?
Yeah, they went to Fright Fest this weekend,
Yeah.
and I went apple picking with them the weekend before.
Yeah.
So my second time apple picking, because I'm from Los Angeles, so we don't do that.
Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, and I don't think I've ever been apple picking once.
Too cold.
Yeah, well, no, not really. It's nice in the fall. I've been pumpkin picking and like maze tours and stuff, but never apples. I don't know why.
Our pumpkin patches are in parking lots in LA, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like what they probably do in New York with like Christmas trees and stuff.
Exactly, just on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how my family got ours for the last like 4 years since we moved to New York.
Yeah.
All right. I guess last thing before we go, if people want to join CAB, they missed the deadline for the fall, but do you do applications again in the spring?
We do general board applications in the spring. But what I always tell people is like the best way you can get involved in CAB is just come to our events.
Yeah.
We do so many, they're all for Fordham students. Like just show up and you'll definitely feel like you're a part of our CAB community.
Yeah. And definitely apply if it's a great way to be involved if you're a freshman or even a sophomore or junior or
senior. We'll take you.
Go for it. You heard it here first. All right, Kathryn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Hank.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, guess what? You can now listen to this on Spotify. And if you actually are listening to this on Spotify, you can watch it on YouTube too. And also, I might be on iTunes in the future, so stay tuned. And you can also follow the Fordham Firesides page on Instagram. There's a lot of new stuff going on here. But anyways, don't forget to like the video and subscribe because that's very, very important stuff. I'll Venmo you $1 for each subscription. We'll see. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.